Man, this is like take 55. I don't even know, man. I lost count, but here we go. It's CJ. We're back at it again today. Today we're going to make a cinematic trap beat in Logic Pro X. Before that, I just wanted to take a few minutes and talk to you guys about what my 2020 has been like. I'm sure it's been as crazy for you guys as it's been for me. The whole pandemic and everything, even though we have to like socially distance, I feel like this whole thing brought us closer together. At least for me it did, with me and my family. I was able to work from home more, same with my wife, and we decided to take our son out of daycare because my wife has pre-existing conditions, and him going to daycare and mingling with all those kids and then coming back home was just too risky. So but it was a blessing in disguise because I got to really spend more time with my son and my wife. I noticed like I talked to my parents a lot more, like checking in on them a lot more, talking and connecting with my sister a lot, just doing all the things that I wasn't really doing before, trying to gather my thoughts and just be as real as possible with you guys. And I feel like before this pandemic, I was just like making content to make content. Like I wasn't really inspired and things like that. Like sure, I had my days where I felt like, oh, I want to make a beat or I want to make a video, but it was more just to like please other people. I felt like with everything going on, it gives me an opportunity to like step back, take time off of YouTube and social media and just focus on the important things. Some positive things happened throughout the year, on top of being more with my family. In February, I got an email from a sample clearance company. At first, like I didn't really believe what was going on. Like I did my research first and like try to like make sure this was the real deal. If you guys remember, I put out this sample pack called Dark Matter Volume 2. It was a free sample pack. In the first 2 months, I had like 8,000 downloads. It was like the most downloads on any pack I ever put out. And I felt like I really have something here. So anyway, I got this email from the sample clearance company. And, in the email it stated, they wanted to confirm if I was the owner of the masters and the publishing for the sample pack, because they had an artist that used one of the samples. And so the first thing I did was reach out to somebody in the industry that I know that works at Alamo Records and just ask for guidance. I realized I needed a lawyer, and I wanted to ask him like, who should I contact? Like, do you know any lawyers? And so he said, absolutely, you should reach out to this lawyer and he can help you with the whole process. So I reached out to the lawyer and he said, yeah, no problem. We can, I'll do all the talking going forward. So I felt like a little more safe about the situation once I got a lawyer. So if you ever get a sample clearance company reaching out to you or a label reaching out to you, wanting to, use your beat, use your samples, make sure you lawyer up, man. And a lot of them do it for a very nominal fee, and it's just a must. So anyway, I got myself this lawyer. He started negotiating with the sample clearance company and the label. And, we agreed upon an amount and, royalty percentages, etc. And then the track came out. The track's called Violent Secrets by Scrim. He's from the Suicide Boys. He had put out a solo project called A Man Rose from the Dead. Crazy project. Seeing my sample being used in a major release was like crazy. It was a crazy moment for me. I felt inspired. I felt like, oh man, I want to go in hard now. I want to make more samples, make more beats, etc. and get these placements. But then like the pandemic hit and like I just got out of the groove, and it was super tough. So like I said, like I took a step back from social media and stuff like that. I was making beats and like I was making samples here and there, but not really the same way I was doing it beforehand. So the best thing you could do is, like, if you don't feel like you're in the mood to make beats and you know, samples or whatever, just take a step back, you know, do something else, and the inspiration will hit eventually. So today I'm sitting here and I'm talking to this camera, and you know, I felt like it's time for me to get back into this, because we just hit 70K subscribers. It's insane. And you know, that's with me not uploading anything for a really long time. So, you know, seeing that, you know, I know numbers aren't really important, but it definitely, you know, brought me back into the groove, and that's why I'm sitting here today and making this video. So a big thank you to all of you 70,000 that decided to hit that subscribe button. I'm definitely now, you know, motivated to keep going. I'm not going to make any promises. Like in the past, I've made, you know, promises saying, oh yeah, I'm going to upload every fucking week, every day, I'm going to upload. But I'm just not going to make that promise. I'm going to make videos when I feel like it, and, you know, try to give you guys the best content possible. So as a thank you to you guys for hitting that subscribe button, I put out a brand new free sample pack that you can download now at frequency.com. It's called At the Movies Volume 1. So once I completed the sample pack, you know, and started listening back to all of these samples, I felt like the sound was very cinematic. And so that's why I call it At the Movies. So for the beat that we're going to make today, I'm going to use one of those samples and, you know, construct some drums around it or whatever. So I hope you guys enjoy watching the process. If you learned something, hit that like button. Put a comment in the comment section below. You know, that helps the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Help me get to that 100K, man. All right, enough beating around the bush. Let's get into making this beat. All right, so I just opened Logic, and I'm going to create a new software instrument. First things first, let's import that sample. So the first thing I'm going to do is let you guys hear the first 16 bars of the sample, and then we'll get into like chopping it up. All right, dope. So first thing I'm going to do is select my scissor tool here. I'm just going to chop it every 8 bars. Now, as you can see, the sample's pretty long. That's because the arrangement's in the front, and then in the back here, you actually have the track outs of all of the stems. So we'll just continue chopping it here. Okay, I'm going to drag my software instrument down, and I'm going to use one of my kits that I already have in Drum Machine Designer here. And we'll lay down a quick pattern with a pattern region. Let's make that 8 bars, and I'll change this to 32 step. Now you can see here I have some samples in here, but there's way more samples in that kit. So to see everything, I'm just going to go to Kit Pieces and then Add All. It'll just put all those drum sounds in there. There's hats, perks, and claps, kicks, 808. If you want to download this project file, I make a link available in the description of this video. So feel free to download it, make your own beat out of it, whatever you'd like to do. Let's find a clap here that would match the sample. I like this one right here. So I'm going to place that here and here. I'm going to process that sound a little bit, so let me expand the kit. Find where my clap is, and what I'll do is add an EQ, cut the lows, some of the mids here. I want it darker sounding, so I'm going to cut out some of the high end too. I feel like it needs to be a little more prominent in the mix, so I'm going to use sausage fattener here. Once we got that going, I could start laying down a hat. So I'm going to find a hat sound that I like. So let's go ahead and add a MIDI region for the hi-hat. Make that 8 bars. Just double click, and we'll find the pitch that we want to use. I like that pitch right there. And I think I'm going to use a triplet for this. So I'm going to go 8th triplet, and we'll go ahead and use a brush tool. Just brush in 3 like so. Let's actually do 4. And I'm going to turn my automation on. Bring the second ones down like so. You have more of a swing in the hi-hat. Just going to copy and paste it over and just fill it out here so we can get a pattern going. I'm going to go back to my mixer, find that hi-hat, add an EQ to that. Let's remove some of the high end of that hi-hat as well. Let's add some more triplets here to the hi-hat, right before the clap drops maybe. Going to go in the automation tool here. If you don't see this, just click this. It'll appear. Make sure it says note velocity, and then you can draw a line like this. And I always like, try to hear what I'm going to place first before placing random stuff in the hi-hat. It's always good to hear first what you're going to do before you're placing it in there. It'll sound more professional that way. Here, a triplet there, so I'm going to go ahead and change that to an 8th triplet. 4 of those. Maybe we could change the volume on that as well. It could be a little louder. And maybe a faster triplet, let's say 132 down here. And this way, we'll add a little more, jazz to the hi-hats. If they're not loud enough, just bring up the volume. Go maybe back to a triplet. And maybe you can have these alternate in pitch. I'm going to go up to the sample really quick here, add an EQ, and use low cut, and just cut the lows out a little bit. Aids for a cleaner mix, basically. And let's go ahead and add maybe a 16th triplet now, right at the end there, that 4th bar. Copy this pattern over, highlight them, hit Alt, drag them over. Now let's make the hi-hats a little more interesting by using some automation. So I'm going to come back here, go to Q sampler and pitch, coarse tune. I can basically change the pitch on the hi-hat like this by adding some bubbles like this, and then having the pitch go from up to down like this. Makes it sound crazy. And Do the same here, maybe reverse now. And for this, maybe higher. And you might think this is counterproductive because I'm already pitching the hi-hats, but it definitely adds more depth to the hi-hats, I feel like, so always like doing this. Whew, that's crazy, bro. And then maybe this one will go really high to really low. Too high. Okay, just correct that a little bit. I'm gonna highlight this pattern that I made in the automation, hold Alt down, and just drag it over to the other pattern like so. Another automation we can add is under Smart Controls, we could use the pan. And this way we can have it pan left to right. That also, brings some dimension to the hi-hats. And it's pretty simple. You just add the bubbles, drag it left and right, however you want to do it. Do the same thing. We can highlight these and just drag them over, holding Alt down again as a reminder. So on the stereo output here, I want to limit it so it doesn't peak. I'm going to use a soft clipper for that. For those of you that are die-hard subscribers, or you already know how I made the soft clipper using the overdrive. Put a link in the description for you guys that haven't watched it yet. And I use a soft clipper like so. And, it basically... The soft clipper will allow you to hear things a little clearer. It definitely brings some clarity to the mix. So I'm noticing the sample's a little loud, so I'm going to bring it down. Once you're satisfied with that hi-hat, the next thing I usually add is an 808. I got this 808 right here that I'm going to use. Let's go to the Q sampler. And set our polyphony to mono so it cuts each other off anytime I play a new note. I'm going to try to come up with a pattern for this 808 using the keyboard. It's good for the start. Let's quantize that really quick. And I'm going to go back to note velocity here. Select all of them by hitting Control A and bringing them up. Maybe this one right here we can bring up 1 octave. And this one... I'm always hearing what I'm going to do prior to, making changes. It's really important that you start to visualize what you want the beat to sound like and then applying it. And that's going to also help you, learn where to place the MIDI notes. So I just, looped it, but I can go ahead and just make a cut right here, and then make a slight variation in this make a slight variation in this 808. So we'll just loop off that section. So instead of this, okay, so I noticed that these are in the wrong key, so I gotta bring those up. Now, if you want to add a little more pizzazz to the 808, you can add a glide. That's hard, bro. Let's see what it actually is going to sound like in the next pattern. So I'm just going to copy these over. Fix that. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and add a kick to this as well. Hey. Da, 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 da. Sounds dope. Now, the 808 and the kick are definitely, fighting with each other. So we'd want to use some sort of a side chain, to minimize the 808 as the kick drops. So you have the kick right there, and the 808 right there. So on the 808, I'm going to put in a Fab Filter Pro C2. So I'm going to go to sidechain instrument and then use that kick. Go down to sidechain and use the external. So every time that kick comes in, the 808 comes out a little bit. All right, so once you have like that going, maybe you would want to add a few percussive pieces, here and there. So on that perk right here, I'm going to add an EQ, cut the lows, accentuate the mids a little bit. Maybe even more. I was thinking here for this part, the hi-hat could actually take some of these hi-hats out. So just to, let the beat breathe a little bit. Hey. All right, maybe now it's time to come up with some more variations, and that will help us make the arrangement later on. So, as I mentioned before, we have the sample is basically tracked out. We have the stems for it, so I could use just parts of it. And let's see here, I think I want to use that. So what I'm going to do is just right-click on it, bounce in place, make its own sample out of it, basically. And then I'm going to hold Alt down and drag it out like that. So if I solo this out, it's slowed it down a bit. Add a new software instrument. Let's go ahead and add a quick sampler now in stereo. And we'll drag that puppy in right there. Going to use the slice function. I'm going to go to beat divisions and bring that division counter down, like that. Want them to cut each other off, so polyphony to mono. Maybe I'll add a glide, see what that sounds like. So we want to turn on zero crossing, so this way, you don't have that clicking noise in between the samples. Let's reuse what I have here for the drums and play the sample back on top of the drums. All right, I fuck that up a little more, so let me go ahead and add like maybe some sound toys here. Let's do a filter freak, and choose one of these presets here, sweep, and then we'll mess with it a little more. Maybe for this part, what we're going to do here is we're going to send the hi-hat to a different bus. So for a better oversight, I'm going to minimize the kit here, and I'm going to put a halftime on top of that. So I'm half-timing the just a portion of the hi-hats during that loop. That sounds crazy, but I only want it to appear at certain times. So what I can do on this aux channel, hit the read button so that it appears in the track list here. And if I hit A, I can go to my automation, and then I'll go to halftime and just use the mix. Now I can apply the mix when I want it. So at first we'll have it all the way down. then, you know, I'll figure out where I want it. Up to that point, I bring it back down. Now I also want to automate the volume of that aux channel. So just have it come in there and disappear out right there. I'm going to duplicate that instance of that sample that we just chopped. Move this over here. And this one I'm going to pitch up just for, like, you know, a better transition, more movement. It'll sound better. I'm going to use the Alter Boy for that. Little Alter Boy by Sound Toys. And we'll link that and just pitch it up by 12 semitones. Oof, shit is hard. Let's just move those over and just bring this over here. I think at this point, you know, I'll leave it up to you guys to finish this beat off. You know, come up with your own arrangement, add vocals to it. I'd love to hear what you did with it. Feel free to send me a snippet at cjbeatz NYC. That's my Instagram handle. So I hope you guys enjoyed this content today. If you have any questions or whatever it might be, use the comment section for that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you're notified anytime I upload some new content. My name is CJ, and I'm out. Peace.